Dudley tells me I have to go and speak about church production simplified.
Oh boy.
How? How can I do things simplified? You see all these computers behind me. How am I going to do this simplified? This is bad. All right. Well, anyway, hello everybody. I want to say the anti-presenter. I don't have slides. But what we are going to do is that we are going to turn, for those who want to interact with us, we want to turn on these microphones and we're going to have conversations about a lot of different things. First of all, I'm going to put a disclaimer out there. I've been doing this for about 20 years now. It's been a long time. From those of you guys know me from Long Island Mass Choir as a choir director. People know me in different generations as different things, all the way up until now. So I can't give you 20 years in an hour. I can't do that. But what I am going to do is just kind of talk about some experiences that I've had and things that I've picked up along the way, and just take you through a little timeline. And what I am going to do is kind of talk about some things that's near and dear to my heart, which is audio. That's really what it is, and kind of listen to everybody. And I don't want to kind of go over a lot of the things that all the other people had said, because they made great points. They made excellent points, but I want to piggyback off of a lot of the things that they have stated. Pastor Wellington earlier spoke about the hybrid church and how to actually merge the Zoom type of church with a traditional worship service, and those are some things that I want to kind of talk about. So let me just first of all introduce myself to you. My name is Gary Saunders. I've been in the Northeastern Conference for pretty much about 30 years. I'm now 44, and I started a long time ago. Came up through various different leaderships and worked with them equally in a professional manner. As a profession, for those who do know me, I do video production for IBM. I'm also the media director for the Greater Allen Cathedral, here located in Queens. Also the media director for the Mount Vernon Seventh-day Adventist Church. And also, I don't know if I just said, I'm a video producer for IBM. So that's what I put towards the end. I should have put that towards the end, because my passion is actually church ministry, church growth, and doing things a lot differently. Yes, there is a lot of computers here. And we could talk about what those computers do, because they all have a particular use. Some of them are off right now. But like everywhere else in the world, even corporate America had to go virtual, right? So what you're looking at here is my virtual production studio. I do a lot of work for IBM and some other corporate companies, handling their major virtual setup, right? So I have 2 network connections inside here with a router that allows me to actually have fault tolerance, Verizon and Optimum. So because I can't not stream, I can't not perform. I also have a battery backup, right? So there's a lot of things going on here, and each one of these computers, whether if you want to use Zoom or WebEx or GoToMeeting, or even all 3 of them connected together, this setup allows me to do so. Because, well, I'm just kind of walk you around the building. So down here, you probably can't see it. I have a mixer, right? So let me just kind of show you the mixer. So you're going to see me talking and blah. Wait, where's my iPad? Hold on. Let me get my iPad. I'm just using this application behind me called vMix. For those who know it, we'll talk a little bit about it. But I want to do some things for those who need to get a simple production, right? Simple production, that's what I'm supposed to be talking about. Unless you guys tell me something different, then I could go into the nitty gritty, right? All right, so just gonna pop this over here and I'm gonna show you my mixer. So you should see my mixer here. So this is my mixer, and as you see me talking, blah, 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 yada, 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 You see this a studio microphone, and I'm talking to you, and you're not hearing me back. You're not hearing me doubled, and that's good things, right? Because what we ultimately don't want to do is to cause what we call a feedback loop. Feedback loops are bad, ladies and gentlemen, and we don't want them in our productions. We don't want them in our worship service because that is the end of all things. Let's talk about the whole Zoom and worship church live platform, right? So here it is. All we had initially was Zoom, and we were worshiping on Zoom, and it was fun, and it was challenging, and it was scary, and it was sweet, and we saw our people, and then we didn't see our people, and now we got to go back to church. It's not a bad thing. I want to go back to church. I like church, right? But, well, Zoom worked well for us because we pretty much got a lot of people, I'm going to talk about my church, to come to prayer meeting because, well, it was easier to do it that way. Rather than people lugging themselves out to the building and turning on the building. Now, we have a pretty huge building and paying all the heat and the light and all that stuff to bring everybody there. Well, we could worship on Zoom. Well, in the pandemic, that worked well. But now what we want to do is to kind of come in to the church, and we want to merge the two. Well, a lot of people have been using Zoom kind of the wrong way, right? Right? They made Zoom the church rather than make Zoom the tool to get into the church. Did that make sense? Well, ultimately, I really don't want you guys to be on mute. I want to either see the chat, which I do, or I want you to talk back to me, right? Because I just don't want to talk to myself. It's just weird.
Can you explain that a little bit more?
It makes
sense. Okay, so you want me to explain instead of making Zoom the church or bringing Zoom into the church?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, the way I use Zoom was pretty much, and we were a very, very early adopter of this at Mount Vernon Seventh-day Adventist Church. We literally went from in church to not in church, and we didn't miss a beat. And one of the things that we were doing, we used Zoom as a method of getting the people into the production rather than making it the whole production by itself. By doing that, you are now enabling yourself and your actual ministry to produce it like a broadcast. You follow me? Yes, no, maybe?
Maybe.
Yes.
Case in point.
Yes.
So case in point. So I'm gonna turn to the side over here, right? And I'm just going to go and put up this feed right here. You guys see me? Hey, how you doing, right? So I'm in Zoom, right? This is in Zoom. I'm feeding this into Zoom, right? So I could sit down here and I could, turn up and down my microphone, blah, 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 all that stuff. And I could show you various different things with this and all the various different production and, how we EQ and all this stuff, turning on EQs, all that fun stuff. And I'm gonna switch back to this way. Now, this makes it more of a easier presentation for those who are watching on the other side, right? So instead of Zoom being your main production, well, for those who are using, and I'm just talking specifically about production suites, Live Stream Studio, vMix, even your Ecam, for those who have a hardware switcher, it's probably better for you to get the Zoom into that and then stream out through somewhere else to make it look polished. Case in point, there's a couple of times where, I work on the Adventist media truck, the AUAM Adventist media truck, and we do a lot of presentations. And one of the presentations that Dudley knows is we did one with West Jamaica Conference, right? Was it West Jamaica Conference?
Yep, West Jamaica, yep.
That's what Glenn Samuels is, right?
Yep.
Okay, so what we had to do was we had to get West Jamaica in. Well, there's a couple of challenges with that, right? You take a look at it. Okay, West Jamaica is where? in Jamaica, right? And we're here in the Bronx. And well, the connection between the 2 points, well, the internet may not be all that good. So what we had to do was to use the virtual capabilities of Zoom to get the video picture from West Jamaica to get it into the broadcast. So it looked like it was a part of the broadcast that was happening at North Bronx, but they weren't there. That's the use of getting Zoom or WebEx or GoToMeeting and all those other ones to get them into your production. Now, there are other applications that actually have their own proprietary way of doing that. You have vMix, who has vMix Call. Livestream Studio has one. I can't remember what it's called, but you know, Livestream Studio can do that. And then you have very simple applications that can be used in a very powerful way, like StreamYard. Well, let me kind of go over here to my trusty computer here, and I'm going to go and bring up this. Okay, you see the mixer, and now you don't. Okay, I was going to talk about this too, but we'll do that. All right, so here's an application called and it's really, really cool. It's a little bit of Zoom, and it's a little bit of Zoom and a little bit of production. So you're able to bring all these various different people in and still do a presentation, as well as cut to them as necessary. That's a really cool thing to do. Another cool thing that they have that I saw down here, which was really nice, was these interactive calls, you know. So for the youth ministries or those kind of things, I think this would be really, really cool to do, to actually to make it kind of fun and funny and you know, kind of engaging. But this is a downloadable application that could be downloaded to your machine. It's called all right. So let's go about and let's talk about this other one. Well, everybody's talking about this bad boy. This is Ecam. This Ecam is also a downloaded application that allows you to bring in various different people. For those who watch, I think it's called the Tech Table, I believe. Pastor Roger Wade, Dion Henry, and Amsalon Paul, they use it a lot to do their presentation. It comes off really, really well and very, very professional. And you won't even really know that they're using Skype behind it, because that's, well, this kind of runs off of Skype. And I think they have their own technology now to bring their people in. But before, I know we used to run off Skype. And then you have, you know, StreamYard. Well, StreamYard also uses these various different things to bring people into the production to create a very professional looking production. You know, so when it kind of comes down to it, guys, all I'm saying is it's very important to look and present yourself a particular kind of way, right? It's very, very, very important. Now, one of the things that kind of scared me earlier when Pastor Dudley was making his presentation, and I love me some Dudley, was that he's created, and I said this to Cheryl in text, that he's making you guys a bunch of communication media terrorists. Don't terrorize your pastor. Don't do it. Because guess what? They're not going to really understand what you're looking to do. So it's very, very, very important that you be inclusive of them and kind of hold their hand through certain things. And I'm talking about you professionals. You know, you professionals that know what you're doing and are gung-ho about getting it done. And then, hey, listen, Pastor, you got to do what I say. That's going to scare the living daylights out of them. You don't want to do that. But what you can do is present them very slowly in various different things to let them understand how to do certain things and to then push that way. The other thing that Pastor Wellington said was, well, you have to you know, everybody wants to go right to buying the equipment because the pastor says we want to stream. What do you want to stream? That's the next question. Not, okay, what do you need to go and stream? You know what I'm saying? That's very, very important. I see you, Alvion. Network infrastructure is really very, very important. And I can get into that too, because I'm using a lot of varied technologies behind me to actually even produce what I'm doing here. Like that's another thing. But kind of getting back to what I was saying, the question should be asked is what you want to stream. And I always come back to my pastor and say that, hey, listen, guys, Our communication is dead on arrival. We work as a team, Pastor John. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, that's right. It's very, very important that we work together. Yes, Pastor John. That's cool. What was I talking about? I know I was talking about something with Mount Vernon. Oh yeah, I was talking with my pastor per se, and we do a lot of very different production, and we try to increase our level of production every time we do it to try to make it a little bit better, to do a lot of different things. Like we do set design, and we do great music. And one of the things that Cheryl was talking about was that church, I think it's 5 Rivers or 3 Rivers that she was saying back in Trinidad, that was doing their production, was recording their content. Well, we were doing this months in advance. 3 Rivers? Yeah, gotcha. So we were doing this years in advance at Mount Vernon. So when the pandemic hit, we went an entire year without playing back any of our audio content having to create any new audio content. People were asking us for our content to go play at their stuff. And the same thing with Greater Allen Cathedral. We had a bunch of stuff that we could always pull from because we've always recorded our content. And it's very, very important to make sure that your content is great. Well, how do you make it great, right? Everyone doesn't have the same capabilities, and everyone doesn't have the same tools. So you have to be uniquely you. Well, you can't, I can't go and say, and I want to pick on the church, but I don't want to pick on the church. Let's just say Shelter Rock. I think there's a church who called me not too long ago. They would say, hey, Gary, I need you to kind of come in and, I'm not even going to say Shelter Rock. I'm going to give you another church. There's a church that called me about 2 weeks ago and said, Gary, I want to do Oakwood. This is what we want. I don't hear no gasps or anything. Turn on your microphones, guys. I feel like I'm talking to you. Yeah, I need to hear that. No, Oakwood. Everybody wants to be Oakwood, right? Yeah. So I said to the pastor, hold on. Sorry, my mic. I said to the pastor, hey, Oakwood got about $150,000 in lighting, right? Oh, we don't want to spend that much, but we want Oakwood. Oakwood got an $80,000 video wall, right?
Ain't gonna happen.
So basically what I had to do was manage expectations. I'm like, well, listen, hey guys, I know what you want to do, but it's going to take time for you to lay out there to get there, especially if you don't necessarily have any infrastructure in place. That church has no infrastructure, nothing. So yeah, right. So what we want to do is to make sure that we take our time to build out the right questions. It's not the gear, it's the right questions. I'm going to speak for my church, right? Because that's who I can speak for. I can't speak for anybody else's church. But one thing that I needed to make sure that Mount Vernon had the ability to do was stay very true to itself. I'll get to that. Arnell, I see you. I mean, you can actually turn on your microphone and talk to me, but yeah.
I got you, Gary.
So I'm gonna talk about. There's one thing that I wanted to make sure that tell you about what Mount Vernon is and how it's unique, I believe, to the whole production stuff. Mount Vernon Seventh-day Adventist Church is a true hybrid production platform. Period. We can go from inside church to Zoom to back inside church to Zoom and church or remote and church, all, and even set timers back into every place so everybody stays on time and communicate to everybody in real time. I don't like to do any post-production work. You know why? Because it takes time. I don't got time. I don't want to do it. So I like to do everything live. So I got to make sure it's mixed right live, it's cut right live, and the production is spot on. So I put a lot of pressure on my team to make sure that they are capable of making sure they get what they get done. Like some of the people that I've been working with at my church, I've had them since 9. They're working for Disney, they're working for NBC, they're working for Apollo. Some of them work with me at Allen. So these are like really the best of the best, and they, and we've all learned together. So one of the things that I see that Central ISIP is actually in Cheryl's presentation, what was really, really cool was they are infusing into the generation of the church the media professionalism that's going to take their church into another stratosphere in the next year. So it may not hit now, even though it is, but the next generation, you're going to forget about it. It's going to be crazy. That's the same thing that I did with my church. I now wanted to find out about infrastructure. All right. So here's the question, Arnell. What are you looking to do in your church? That's the question. Because based on what you're looking to do in your church is the infrastructure that is necessary. We all know that we need lighting, right? And we need audio, right? Well, are you doing a 4-piece band, a 3-piece band? Do you want to be able to do a choir? Do you want to be able to do a chorale? Do you want to be able to do an orchestra? Those are the things that you have to come to the table in presenting to your pastor. Well, this is what I want to do. And I really picked those particular things because Arnell's a music guy, right? So he gets what I'm saying. So
Yes.
we basically, so once we do that, then we got to figure out, well, how do we want to do it? Do we want to mix it live inside the building, or do we want to post-production, or do we want both? That's the infrastructure that I'm talking about. I'm talking specifically about music because this is Arnell. We could talk about that. Let's talk about infrastructure with Alvion, right? Alvion is an IT professional. Say hi, Alvion. I'll wait.
Hello, everyone.
All right. So he's a network professional, right? I used to do that for Verizon for 15 years. I hated it. I wanted out. He can have all that. So one of the things that would make what his job important is getting all the various different technologies to actually come together on a singular network. Like behind me, I have a varied amount of different things. So my office is messy because I'm working. I'm pulling the machines out and I'm putting them back all the time, right? So I have all my machines, well, most of them, patched into a bunch of network switches, right? So I could do a couple of different things. I have internet, I have what you call Dante audio, and I have SoundGrid audio, and I also have what you call NDI, which some people may know, and I can get into that. Let me see how much time I got, because I know I'm talking about a lot of stuff. Okay. All right, cool. I got time. I've been talking for 15 minutes. My mouth hurts. All right. So NDI. So basically, I used all of these things. I know. I love it too, man. I've been using it for years. So I use all of these varied technologies to be able to present what I need to present and send signal back and forth to either from my house to my church, or from the church to my house, or from my church to Ephesus, or from Ephesus back to my house. Or I even did it to what's the church? Faith, because one time we did a camp meeting. I did camp meeting for the past 1,000,000 years. I know, it's whatever. But one of the things of the last 2 camp meetings was completely virtual. And one of the things that we did do was they had created sets in the various different places to then get the signals back to master control, which I was using. I was master control. What can you use for ministry music now? Say a group of 4 singers at a different location. There are some technologies that are out there. I don't know how great they are just yet. I think it's like Jamster, or that was one of them. And there's another one. This is Iania. I can't pronounce it. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your name.
It's all good.
She had asked, sorry, his name.
My name's okay.
So basically what they wanted to do is, I know you guys see it in chat, so be able to bring 4 singers in together. But we can talk about some of those stuff. I think, like I said, Jamsters are one of them. There's some other ones that allow you to do that. a music something. I got to take a look into it. But yeah, so what I was getting back to is the infrastructure that allows me to communicate to other places. So one of the things was during the COVID pandemic, I was able to pull feeds from Ephesus. I pulled feeds from Faith. Yeah, no, not Smule. Not Smule. I don't think that doesn't work. But hold on for a second. So bringing that to master control, we're now able to provide a professional output to go to various different places. One of the things that we started to do, what I started to do on the other side of the bridge in Westchester, was get a team of streaming professionals, so to speak, together, and we were the ones who did the 10-day of prayer. Some of them went, flawlessly. Some of them didn't go as planned. But one of the things that we were able to do was get a bunch of people on the same page, producing the same content coming out of the Northeastern Conference, which was really, 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 I think, a first. I don't think any other churches have kind of done that, but or conferences have done that, but where very different churches present their content completely as one unit, so to speak, which was really, really cool. Right. So. What else? Anybody have any questions so far? Let's have some quick little dialogue, and then we can kind of pivot.
Is it a big deal about the cameras? What kind of cameras do you use for streaming? The best cameras used for streaming?
Really, it comes down to your budget. It's not necessarily. It really comes down to your budget and how much you want to spend. I'm just going to say this. Has anybody, show of hands, anybody watched Greater Allen Cathedral production? Show of hands, or claps, or thumbs up in the chat.
I think I did.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, right. So you would think that they have expensive cameras, right? No, sir. we don't have expensive cameras. But the thing is that our production level is so good that it makes our crappy cameras look good. So I say all that to say it really is a matter of your budget. You can get Blackmagic cinema cameras with 2470 lens or 7200 lens, 6K cameras and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to say this, guys. It's better to actually know how to drive a car than to have a pretty car and don't know how to drive it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, get some in your network.
Yeah, you can network and try to find out how to drive it, but when you get behind the seat and you try to sink that clutch and you got too much power, you're gonna crash. So you gotta be careful.
Preach, Gary.
You gotta be real careful.
Hey, Gary, I have a question.
Who's this?
This Chi. I wonder about churches who may not have the appropriately trained individuals. Do you know of places or companies that would be good where they can send people off for training? Because we talked about engineers.
Absolutely.
We don't talk about that enough.
Oh, you know what? Let me tell you where it is. Northeastern Conference Communications Department. That's what we're doing this year. Shameless plug.
Sign me
Shameless
up.
plug. Shameless plug.
So can I, since you brought that up,
Okay.
Pardon me. 2 questions.
Choking the guy.
I know, right? There's so much good stuff coming up here. So 2 questions. You were mentioning programs that you're using at Mount Vernon and other places that you port Zoom into so you can do production, lower thirds, and all that kind of stuff, and then put it out, right? Am I correct in that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so no, because which is the easiest to use, simplest to use? Maybe won't have all the
Okay, let me put it as from beginning to advanced and professional. Let's put it that way. And I see you, Pastor John. I'm gonna come to you in a second because there's a bunch of different ones that you can get on your app. Okay, so as a beginner, right? So most people will say, listen, as a beginner, we're going to jump on Zoom and we're going to do church. Okay, cool. But just make sure it stays on Zoom and you're not streaming from Zoom. Because Zoom has the giant thing in the side that says Zoom. We don't want to see that. Nobody want to see that. So Zoom, I would say beginner. Up from Zoom, I would then say StreamYard, Ecam, Okay? Now, I would say StreamYard. Then Ecam, which is a downloadable application. StreamYard uses WebRTC. Everything's in the cloud. Okay? It's a very easy to use application. You can get up to 10 people that you can bring in individually, 1080p. You have a 4 meg bit rate. You can actually push your content out to YouTube and Facebook or your custom website. It's an awesome application and it's nothing to sneeze at. Okay? Awesome application. But then you get into the big boy stuff, right? So some people like to use what you call OBS. Anybody use OBS? Because it's free?
Yep,
I started with OBS and I quickly realized that this was not for me.
I use Vmix.
I agree.
Right. So, but then that's when we start going to the big boys. Then you got the live stream studio, right? You got vMix, right? Then you have people who would like the hardware production suites, right? Like the ATEM or the Ross Carbonite switcher, those kind of professional switchers, which is a little bit harder to do because, well, with those kind of productions, you got to bring in all the other stuff, like your graphics and your lower third. You got to bring a computer to do that. vMix allows you to do a lot of that stuff on the fly. And the automation in vMix is amazing.
Say it again. Say it again.
Yeah. Okay.
I've been using it for years.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. Who said that? Say it again. Yeah, yeah, but
it's me.
right. Well, yeah. So it's a cheap TriCaster. That's what it is. I'm a TriCaster fan. I've been using TriCaster for years, but I would say vMix a very, 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 very powerful tool. As far as NDI off of your phone, you could use it 2 different ways, Pastor John. There's a let me try to see something. I'm trying to find it's an app that I had before.
New tech?
No, yeah, it's new. It is new tech. NDI. It's like an NDI.
Is it
camera.
Minicam?
No. It's for phone. What Pastor John wants to do? He wants to get.
Droid
Is it?
Droid Cam.
Oh no, but there's another one for. There's one for Android too.
You can use your phone.
Basically,
using NDI as a camera that feeds your production.
Right. He wants to use a cell phone to feed his production, and it does work out well. It doesn't have to be NDI. It only works when you're in the building. If you're in the building, if you actually maybe having like a studio like this and you don't necessarily have multiple cameras, you want to use this as a camera, yeah, you could do that. But you would probably want to do, and this is something that I've done for my church, was we were able to do a baptism at the beach, right? So we had people pull out their trusty phones and they were like, hey, listen, I'm trying to remember the app. It's like a Lutrex or something like that. I got to find it. I haven't used it in a long time, but it was able to send an RTMP feed from my phone back to master control, right? So, that worked out very, 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 very well. So there's a lot of different technologies, but don't necessarily lock yourself into one thing, right? That's what I'm going to say. There's some advantages via hardware switching versus software-based video switches. And the number one thing is latency. You know what I mean? With hardware switches, as soon as you make a punch, it's right there, and you'll see it on your iMag or the video return that's coming back to you. Where software switches, depending on your graphics card, it may be fast and may be slow. Then you got to change delays and all that other stuff, and it makes it kind of for a crazy thing. But kind of going back to the initial question in reference to cameras, I'm just going to spit out some really cool ones. I like the Panasonic UX180. The Panasonic UX180, you could put that in the chat. I think it's a 180, I want to say. They do have a 180 and a UX90. They're not necessarily super expensive, but they're good ENG cameras, right? Electronic news gathering cameras, that's what it is, ENG, right? So you can stick your audio source into that, and you could feed that camera into your video switcher, and then you pass your audio from your mixing board into it to then send it down the line, right? Yeah, AGUX 180. Yeah, it's a cool. That's the one I use at Mount Vernon. You know, I'm giving you guys, my stuff. But the other thing would be kind of what to Cheryl is lighting. That's a good low light camera, but you get it. For me, it was great the way it was. But once I added the lighting at my church, it just was like, okay, now I'm starting to look broadcast quality. I'm not there yet, but you know, it's trending in the right direction.
Very question.
Yeah.
How do you choose the lighting for your what kind of lighting do you like, a brand or something? How do you choose the lighting?
Well, it's not necessarily about choosing lighting, but understanding where light needs to go. Okay?
Gotcha.
That's very, very, very important, where you need to get your lights and where not, and where you need to shade your stuff. Because that was Osman? I think that was Osman.
Yes, that was me.
Okay. All right, so Osman, so at your church, right, you have lights on the side of the thing. So the light comes in off the side. So you got to blind all that. You have to create it. You have to make it dead.
Gotcha.
Then you could actually, like, if I were you, I would hang lights from the back on the top and just shoot it down to the what you call it, kind of like what I did that at Hanson Place. I did it at Germantown. I did it at Mount Vernon. I did it at Kingsborough. So it's the same thing. Just put the light where the majority of the people want to live. Even I did it at Allen. By positioning and pointing the lighting to the specific area that needs to be lit, it then allowed me to use the cameras at their relative, standard way of being operated. Because a lot of us are putting great cameras into poor lighting situations and saying, well, it doesn't look like I thought it was going to look. Well, no, you don't have right lighting.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's one of the issues I'm having with my church, right? That's the one correct that, so I'm looking into that right now.
Oh, that's cool. Cool. Ellipsoidals. There's a company where is that company called? They're out of I'm just having a brain fart today. I have no information. It's bad. What's the name of that company? Stage Right. Stage Right? Okay. Stage Right, yeah. Look them up. I think they're on like mono price, and they got some very cheap ellipsoidals. Get some 26-degree barrels or 19 degrees barrel for your church because how long it is. You probably should go 19, and then put them on let's hang them off the back, point into the stage, and that'll allow you to do so. Okay, so you want to do training? Well, I'm going to talk with Pastor Dudley in figuring out, because basically what we're looking to do is everybody here is going to be on the communication media staff. Say yay.
Yeah.
Are you happy? Yeah. Yay. So everybody here is going to be on it. So going into the future, what we're going to do is that everybody from your individual churches would now be a part of our Lighthouse Media production brand. Shameless plug, Dudley. Shameless plug. Right. So we're going to learn audio, and I wanted to kind of get to some audio stuff, which is kind of cool because it's one of the things that I was kind of did, and some people, I put it online a couple of weeks ago. People were like, "Wait, how did you do that?" They were like, "Well, basically this is what I posted. I posted a video of me mixing my church service from my house." So it was kind of cool. It was out of necessity, but it was kind of cool. So what ended up happening was my church. I think I just did a recording for Donnie McClurkin, right? I did a recording for Donnie McClurkin, and I see you, brother Troy. Is that Troy? Is that my boy Troy? Hold on, I wonder if that's my boy Troy. Right.
From
So
Christian and Fellowship, yeah, it's me.
My guy, what's up, bro?
I'm all right, man.
So So what I ended up having to do was I just did a recording from Donnie's McClurkin thing, and then I think a bunch of us got COVID, and we couldn't leave the house, and my church, the choir was singing, right? So what I ended up having to do was I had to go, hey, listen, I can't come in there and mix for you, so I could do it from my house. And they were like, no, you can't. So we have a confidence monitor in the back. So I was like, okay, I logged in, got on Zoom, they saw me in the back, and I had the mixer in front of me, and I was literally mixing the entire congregation. And we have a pretty big church, and the thing is, which was pretty cool, was by using Zoom, and that's what I used to actually listen, and I know that it sounded good in Zoom, that inside the building it sounded even better. So it worked out. So, and the pastor didn't even know that I wasn't up there. They're like, oh, church was good today, Gary, good job. I was like, oh, I wasn't in there, I'm at home. He said, what? I was like, no, I'm home. I was like, who was up at the church? Nobody was there. Who turned on the lights? I turned the lights on from home. What? But, oh dear. That's exactly what he said. But, it's all about building the infrastructure to support what you need. I'm not going to expect MES to be Mount Vernon. Or I can't be, I don't want to do what Cheryl does. but God bless her for that. I don't want to do that. Okay, yeah, I see what you said there, Andrea. Andrea was saying Mount Sinai and Queens, they separated their communications and the media ministries. That was one other thing that I was going to get to. It was on a list, believe me. I had it on my phone. I was going to talk about it. And actually, some churches have, let me back up. As you grow and your ministry grows, then you can actually separate. All right? What? I know y'all want to get to the training. Stop rushing me. But that's more so really what we got to do is get with Pastor Francois, and then we will create a space for you guys to do that stuff. We will create a space for you to do that stuff at the Northeastern Conference office or very different places. We'll create spaces. Maybe I'll go around to the various different areas and I'll pick a church that would allow me to come in to do those particular trainings. So you just gotta inundate D. Francois at northeastern.org and just flood his email with stuff. Say, get Gary out there. So then I'll come and I'll go to, of course, maybe I'll go to Bethany for Long Island. In Queens, I'll go to CWC, and then.
Yeah, you got to visit Emil, sir.
He's looking at me.
Don't forget about Mount Sinai. We're in Queens too.
Yeah, I know.
Gary.
I know. Gary. Yeah. Dudley looking at me.
This is recorded, so it's too late to back out.
You can come to my church anytime.
I know. I got a trip coming out to to Lebanon. I already know. But you guys, I got you. But Dudley over here, he got a mad face on. I'm sorry. But yeah, like as far as Rhode Island, I don't know if I can get out there unless maybe I'll do something in the Boston area. I can do that. Maybe I can get you to the church I used to work at. I used to work at the First Cathedral in Hartford, Connecticut. I was the media director there. Maybe I can get some people to kind of come there, but we'll work it together. But what I'm looking to do is that when we do our camp meetings, when we're doing our departmental meetings and we need people to do these things, well, you guys should be the ones. Yeah, I know. I got you, Delmar. I got you. But you guys should be the ones that are actually doing it. For those who know me, I'm always inclusive of bringing people in to do some stuff as long as you're serious about it. I'm a funny guy. I like to play around. I joke, but when it comes to work, I'm a different type of person. And those who know me know me. All right. So that's really what it is. But I want to kind of I don't know if I'm gonna pivot. I'm gonna let you guys ask your questions. I'm gonna let you ask. We got 13 minutes. I'm letting this Q&A go for it. Ask me anything.
Quick question.
Who's this? Alvion?
No, this is Troy from Christian Fellowship.
Okay. Yes, Troy. What's up?
Yeah. So I have the X32 mixer. Do you provide training on that?
Yeah, I can do that because I was going to do that today because, wait a minute. Let me see where it is. This is, oh, wait a minute. Hold on, let me flip this.
You have the app there, yeah.
Hold on, let me, I'm loading it up right now. Hold on one second. So, and I was going to kind of show you how to do that. I was going to go over that. I don't know. We'll see if everybody wants to kind of want me to pivot to that. I can, but this is the X32 Mixer, and I was kind of going to go over that because I think most churches have the X32, right? If you have the X32, no, you got Allen Heath.
I got mine. I got mine.
Okay. You know what? Maybe what we can do is that I can set up a training on that.
That would be excellent, Gary. That would be excellent, Gary.
Okay, so so again, C. Wilson at northeastern.org. Flood her email and say, Gary, I need training. But just don't email me.
Gary, we got a long ride to Victory Lake tomorrow morning. So you know you're gonna get it from us, right? All right.
Yeah, man. I know but your email is gonna be jacked up. But anyway, so like I am set up to do this, and I don't know if you guys want to do it, but I gotta check with my wife because I've been busy like for a couple days. But I could do this probably towards the end of the week. You know what I mean? I'll send the information out, and then you guys could pass it along amongst yourselves. And then, we could go over X32 because like I legit was like, okay, I did a recording at Allen not too long ago, and I was gonna play it back and show you guys how to mix it to make it sound the way it needs to do. So I have my Logic set up over here. I was gonna play the song and do the stuff, but we're running out of time. We only got 10 minutes to go. And unless you want to do this in the last 10 minutes, anybody, any takers? Yes.
No, it's going to be too short.
Yeah,
yes, I don't mind.
Yeah, but I know that's what I'm saying. I think these presentations is like an hour. Like, how am I going to get all this in an hour? Part two. But any other questions?
You need advanced. That's what you need. You need
right?
The advanced side. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Okay, I got a hand up there. I'm sorry. Let me get. I'm trying to move the chat out the way.
Christina Demanche.
Go ahead, Christina.
Hi. So, quick question. I know it's a little off topic from the general discussion, but I am really loving your media director shirt, and I wanted.
Oh yeah.
Got it.
Lit, right? Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Any other questions? Hold on, wrong computer. Sometimes it's all these computers get in the way. It would be so much better if you guys had your camera on. That sucks. Oh, now you want to turn on your cameras. Now you want to turn on your cameras, right? Now y'all want to do that, right? See? Look at that now. See how engaging would this be?
Gary, you're too funny, man.
But this would have been great. I'm like, okay, this is great. Then I can be like, Andrea, and Donald, and Arnell.
Gary.
Yes.
Because you talked about like how your team works, for years. How do you get people enthused about these things? Because when everybody is doing their own thing, and you need people because you're going insane, trying to do everything, and you don't want to do everything. How do you get those people excited about the thing? Because talking about it doesn't always just work. So like I don't know the method.
Let me say this.
Yes.
I'm gonna say this. You excited now?
Yes, actually, I'm interested to do some things, right? Yeah.
Exactly. You be excited. You bring that energy, and then it'll follow. There's a reason why my guys are how my guys are. They rock with me anywhere, and I'll take them anywhere all over the country. Now, let me just say this. There's some times where at some point you're going to have to show some appreciation. You know what I'm saying? At some times. But a good thank you. You're doing a good job. I couldn't do this without you. Those kind of things, those kind of topics, those kind of words of affirmation goes a long way. When people come up to me and be like, oh, I felt church today, that makes me feel great as an engineer. It really does, because I know, and when I get into my audio presentation, then I can kind of show you, talk to you how you actually can change the narrative and change the feel of the church. Just like how musicians play the piano, engineers play the emotions of the actual church. So you ever been to a situation where, hey, you go to church and be like, oh, church was good today, and then you have a situation where, oh, I felt church today. Well, maybe the kick needed to come in at a particular time. Maybe you need to have a verbal, like an effect on the person singing at a particular time so they can get all of those things go into how you create the emotional response to the worship. Listen, that worship stuff is serious. It's really, really serious. Now, I come a little bit from a music background and a production background and an IT background, and I cultivated that together when I created a company called Praise Vision. That was the granddaddy of them all. A lot of people's stuff that they do now is because we did it years ago when nobody was thinking about it. Right? So I say all that to say it's going to take time to build it, but you have to carry the enthusiasm. You have to carry the enthusiasm to get the people to where they want to do. I took kids, when I started at Mount Vernon doing what I did, I took them at adventurer age, adventurer to Pathfinder age, that demographic. I had about 15 kids. I remember Paula Olivier came and she was preaching and she was like, I see all these little people grabbing the microphone. They're not allowing me to touch the microphones, and they're handing me the microphone and all those kind of things, because what I was instilling in them is how to be a stagehand. And then after that, I had to move them into say, okay, you guys did that? Oh, cool, y'all got that. Okay, so you need to make sure that this person gets the mic at this particular time. Okay, now you're managing the worship service. You know that this person is going to get the microphone. You got to tell him to make sure that person gets the microphone at that time. Then we have a floor manager, stagehand, floor manager. What are we going to next? Okay, now, all right, so we got to get cameras. I got to tell you a funny joke about this, because my church, I hope ain't nobody on here from Mount Vernon, but let me tell you something. Back in when Pastor Jules became the pastor there, they were like, yo, Gary, we want a sign to let people know when they're parking, when their lights on, or if their car is blocked. We wanted these you know, those red dot matrix things? They wanted to put that inside the church. I was like, oh yeah, $20,000. Oh, Gary, you're going to make sure you get what you need to get. I was like, yeah, $20,000, you to get it. They gave me the money. I bought them my entire production suite. I got them 3 cameras, a TriCaster. So when they came in and they saw, they were like, well, where's the thing? They saw themselves on the big screen TV, on the big screens on the wall. They were like, because believe me, Jamaicans love to see themselves on TV. Believe me when I tell you. So that went out very, very well, and it was really, really cool. And since then, that was the next thing that I had to do. I had to train my technical director to think like a stage manager. Then I got my camera operators. Then I started working on my audio. Now I would probably say, I am going to say that our audio at Mount Vernon can hang with anybody's stuff across the United States, period. Because we put the time in. You got to put the time in. You got to train the staff. You got to keep them energized. You got to say thank you. You have to make sure that, which honor? I don't know what that means. Which honor? Okay. Anyway, kind of get back. You just have to be intentional about what you're doing. It's not necessarily getting the equipment, but getting the right question answered. Then you get the equipment. So now there's nothing. Anybody can come to our church and say, we want to do this, this, and this, and this. Okay. When you want to do it. I'm not saying that everybody's going to get there. You know what I'm saying? But be the best version of you. Be the best version of you. I'm not here to kind of be trying to show you how to be simplified, because I don't do anything simple. If I do stuff simple, then I wouldn't be me. But I want you to push yourself to be the best version of you. And we're here to help. C. Wilson, Northeastern.org. D. Francois, Northeastern.org. We are here to help you. All right. That's all I got, guys. I got 3 minutes. I'm gonna turn that back over to Pastor Francois. I really appreciate the opportunity to kind of talk with you guys. But we are looking to do some really great things here in the Northeastern Conference. Pastor Francois has an amazing team that he's put together to do a lot of different things. And the Lighthouse Media is going to be probably the first of its kind, I believe, in Adventism, where our church, our pastors, our media directors, our lay people will be working together to produce content for our conference. So listen, that's all I got today. You can Cash App Northeastern Conference Communication Department. We gotta get a Cash App, and then help us out.